Thank you so much for bestowing this honor upon me. In a time that is so uncertain and uncharted, this award reminds me that advocacy is even more valuable. We cannot move forward toward necessary change and inclusion without conversation and education. And as long as I have the breath and the conscious thought to aid our efforts, I will continue to do so. I believe that together we can and will overcome all obstacles in our way. So again, thank you for this honor and this privilege, and we have to keep moving forward. So advocacy to me basically means that, our community needs voices. We need, people to understand, and not even necessarily understand, but we need people to kind of realize that we're here, we're not leaving, and that our thoughts, our lives are important. So to me, it means speaking up when I'm able. It means, doing the work that someone else might not be able to do from within my community. Working with Equality Ohio has been interesting because I've kind of been someone who I kind of advocate on my own. I kind of do things outside of organizations. So being recognized by an organization is incredibly humbling, and it means that my efforts haven't gone unnoticed. So I've just, I've been here celebrating every victory and mourning every loss with everybody, but it feels like Equality Ohio is like this beacon, in the darkness. And so getting closer to that light is just overwhelming and incredible. Well, I'll take it from lived experience. I know is obviously just, what you've experienced in your life. So lived equality, I guess in the same vein, would be not just words, but actually feeling equal. My dreams for the future of Ohio's LGBTQ plus community. Well, for starters, cheaper name changes. That would be a start. Actually, having all the same rights as everyone else, that would be great. Not seeing any jeopardizing of marriage or housing or healthcare. That's what I see for the future. That's not really a tall order, I don't think. Sky's the limit dream would be that, oh gosh. I mean, there's so much. I think sky's the limit dream for me for the future of our community in Ohio would be that, there are gender neutral bathrooms and the markers on our, identification would be able to match whatever gender you are and not just male or female. Having protections in housing and protections in employment, disability rights, just adoption rights, everything. How did I come to the work that I do? Well, my entire transition has been public. I haven't ever been someone that was able to kind of fly under the radar. And I mean, I've only gotten mouthier as the years have served. It's been 13 years. And, when I was first doing any kind of advocacy work, it started with online because people didn't ask trans people to come to their classrooms to talk. And I remember I was part of a GSA, because we still called them gay straight alliances back then in college. And I was taking a human sexuality class, and then I had a professor, hey, I really like what you had to say. How about we do like a lecture type series? And I sat on a couple panels. And I also started in the drag community, so I would travel to other places and do drag shows, and they do talkbacks. And when I realized that, like, hey, this is something I can actually do, I just kind of, it took off. So now I've talked to nursing students, I've talked to high school students, college students. I help admin some online groups. You know, it just kind of snowballed from there. Well, what it's like being a public figure is definitely humbling, and it's definitely difficult because, you know, there are things we all think, and there are things we all want to say, but when you realize that, like, what you want to say and what you think kind of, it shouldn't, but it kind of paints a picture of your community, and that you have to be conscious, you have to be inclusive, right? And you have to think before you speak, and you have to be careful that what you're saying is not only heard, but not seen as divisive by people. And by people, I mean the people you're trying to advocate to. You know, you have to make sure that you're playing nice so that they, you know, want to give you a crumb of validation. You have to make sure that you're not leaving anyone behind. For anyone that's struggling, whether you land on, I'm trans, I'm questioning, I'm not trans, no matter where you land, the journey is what's important. And along the way, there are going to be obstacles. You know, nothing worth having is not worth the fight. And as long as you know within yourself who you are and what you need, that's all you need to push forward. And you have to, like Mr. Rogers said, look for the helpers. So the big thing that I would want out in the world, I would have to say that just because you don't experience something the way that a trans person does, doesn't mean that it's not real, and doesn't mean that it's not important. And just because, you know, something as simple as using someone's pronouns, we'll go there. It costs $0. It literally takes no time, and it takes nothing from you to just recognize that this person deserves the same respect that you are afforded by default. So that would be my biggest thing, because I feel like addressing a person or, you know, discussing a person, I feel like that is something that everyone does and something that everyone can change relatively easily.